So we broke the story today that Prince died. And we now have some evidence that he seemed to know that this was coming.
It's certainly a huge shock for fans, for the world, for all. It was a shock for us, but yeah, it does seem like Prince himself and maybe some people close to him knew that this was coming.
So here's what we know. We can tell you, number one, that people connected with Prince say kind of out of the blue, a month ago, he started writing his memoirs and felt the need to start quickly. They had been talking about doing memoirs, and by the way, I didn't even tell you this, but apparently the memoirs were going to go all the way up to the Super Bowl in 2007. And he had talked about doing it for a long time, but then felt compelled to write as quickly as he could. And he wrote 50 pages of this memoir. Now, again, he was found dead today in his recording studio in Paisley Park. And the backdrop of this is that a week ago, we broke a story that on his way back from a concert in Atlanta, he made an emergency landing in Moline, Illinois, to go to the hospital. He was rushed to the hospital by ambulance, and the reps told us it was the flu, but it seemed weird to us because he had been coming from Atlanta. He was 48 minutes by air from his home.
It just seemed weird that he would have to make an emergency landing
when he
was that close to home. Just for flu.
And we had heard that when he went to the hospital, he was doing poorly. And the rep said, no, he was fine. And they sent him out 3 hours later.
We've talked to those same people that we were talking to in Moline, Illinois, when that happened today, just a few minutes ago, and they are adamant that he left too early. Their point is that it was serious enough, and Harvey, like you said, he wasn't doing well from whatever the infliction was, and that he left too early, that he bailed, his manager was there, and he was on his private jet the second that they decided he should leave, and it wasn't, the doctor's idea.
It wasn't like the doctor said, oh, you're fine, go on and get out of here.
Apparently it was only several hours that he was in the hospital, not, if it was serious, and obviously he passed away to cause death a few days later, he wouldn't have left in 3 hours.
Now let's talk about a little more. That was last Friday. The next day, he showed up at a dance party in Paisley Park.
That he organized and that we're told he wanted to do as
because
a show
of our
to the
story.
Fans. Because of our story, he wanted fans to know that he was okay.
Now, the question is, see, we thought back then, Charles, that he wanted fans to know he was okay. I've changed my mind on this.
Right.
I think that he didn't necessarily want his fans to know he's okay because of what he said to the fans.
Except that the context, we didn't have the context at the time.
We didn't have the context at the time.
Right, what he said to the fans, now he didn't actually sing that night, but he came out on stage and he said, wait a few days before you waste any prayers.
Wait a few days before you waste any prayers. Not, I'm okay. Wait a few days before you waste any prayers.
But at the time, I
found it weird.
I seem to recall that people described it as he was saying it sort of in a flippant, like, I'm okay. Sort of like you took it, which was, the reports of my death are
I'm being honest with you. I found it, when I came in Sunday morning, I found it a weird statement, but I put it up and I figured, I didn't know what it meant.
Because Prince was always so quirky and he would say things that you didn't really understand anyway.
I think we should stay, guys, some of the facts are the obvious that a lot of people know about Prince. Number one, he is Jehovah's Witness and famously sober. No drugs, no alcohol. So I'm going through the things that people would go to with a rock star like Prince. Number two, if he had some sort of disease, long-term, like cancer, something that would cause death. Remember, he was very, very young to pass away. So he didn't have anything like that he's ever talked about. The only thing that's there is that in one interview one time, a long time ago, he mentioned he had epilepsy. But again, I'm saying all that because we had heard a bunch of different stuff, and for him to pass away at this age from the flu doesn't seem like it fits with what's going on. And I wanted to say all those things just because we are doing, obviously, what everyone else is wondering, trying to figure out what it would be that would cause death. And also, guys, we're working on a story right now, actually, about Prince being near his home and having to go to a local pharmacy a bunch to try to get something.
In the last 2 weeks.
In the last 2 weeks, and a bunch of times. So again,
we should say this photo that you're looking at there was taken, it seems to be the last time that he was seen in public. This was outside of Walgreens on Wednesday night near his home.
And again, guys, it to me, something
Hours
that doesn't
before he
fit
died.
is
It
this
was
is
7:30
him,
that night.
and we're told he was pacing in the parking lot outside of the Walgreens, waiting on whatever medication was coming out of the pharmacy.
Or
and
waiting for someone coming out.
for
But
someone
yeah,
coming
I know
out,
what you're
right?
saying, right.
One
It
of
just
it-
seems weird to me. If he were sick with the flu, Harvey, and not feeling well, he wouldn't have gone there, and he wouldn't have gone out of the car and stuff like that. So again, we're trying to figure out exactly what was
The
wrong with
pacing
him,
is
but
what's weird.
That
Because he would just
doesn't
sit in
make
the car.
sense with the flu, especially if he was very, very ill.
Right.